Very special day today. We're partnered with Orphans Aid. It's feeding 5,000 today. How many meals can you provide at $2 a meal?
Now, we are very blessed to have in the studio a voice you will certainly recognise, a very, very good friend of Rima Media. Sue, how are you?
I'm absolutely excellent, thank you. Great to be here.
It's really great to have you here. And yeah, your voice is so familiar.
Actually, I must tell you a funny story. Sometimes I've actually been stopped and people have said to me, I recognise your voice, but I don't. Who are you?
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it's because of Rima or Sanctuary, or it's because of the network.
Right.
Yeah, people will recognise my voice but not my face. You must get that.
No, never actually. That's amazing though.
Yeah, I've had that a few times.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Hey, we are really pleased to be partnering with you guys today. I think it's just such a great thing to be feeding the hungry.
Yes.
So you guys work in all sorts of far-flung places, and I know that there's the whole current crisis in Ukraine at the moment, and there'll be kids fleeing Ukraine. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so we've been in a really privileged position to help children and families that are fleeing from Ukraine since the conflict over there. And the reason why we've been in a unique situation is that our home where we started Orphans Aid in Romania is not actually that far from the border. So it's a reasonable distance, but it's about a 6-hour drive from the Ukraine border, depending on which border, of course. But it's so we found ourselves in a position that when things over 3 years ago turned ugly, we were able to get some aid into Ukraine very quickly. And then after that period of time, of course, you don't know how long these things are going to happen for.
Yeah.
We thought, okay, this will be over quite quickly, we'll get some aid, and then life will go back to normal. But of course, it's been anything but quick.
Yes.
So then we found ourselves, how can we help long term with what the needs are? And we through some connections on the ground, we connected with a group of Ukrainians who had fled not far from our home in Romania into Romania. Some of them were from an orphanage, some of them from large foster families, into a place called Mediash in Transylvania. And of course, here we are with these Ukrainian children, Ukrainian mums, because the dads can't leave the country, who don't speak the language, who can't earn any money, who don't have anywhere to live, who have been displaced, many of them lost loved ones. How do you help? So we began to support and enable a school for these children where they were being fed, where they were learning, some incredibly wonderful teachers from Ukraine, because of course the language is a barrier.
Yes.
Although the language is getting better because they're all learning Romanian and they're all learning English. And so now that's been actually over a couple of years that we've been supporting the school and supporting those, many of them orphans, not all of them orphans, but many of them without family. So a big part of that has been providing meals, because food is such a basic, isn't it? I mean, if you're hungry, you think about it. If things are tight, you still buy your food, don't you?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So for many of them, where do they get food from? Mum can't work if she's got 3 or 4 kids or a large foster family. That is her work, and she's probably not able to get a job in Romania anyway. So how do they live? How do they survive? And to start with, there was quite a lot of funds coming in from various governments and grants, but that dried up quite quickly.
Right.
So then, okay, what now? So we've found ourselves going from this really short-term thing to something that's actually really growing, and the needs have grown, because for many of these, they won't go home now. They won't go back to Ukraine, because what do they go back to?
Yeah.
There's nothing to go back to.
All gone.
They can't. Some of them, they can't even go to the region that they came from, because it's not even Ukraine anymore. And for many of them, they don't know whether dad's alive. They don't know whether their brothers are alive. And so it's
just hard. It's hard to comprehend what that would be like.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Actually, it kind of, for me, one of the teachers, she said something about she just wanted to go home to her and see her house and see her things. And I thought, when you've lost everything, right down to, you flee, You don't even have your wardrobe. You don't have your pots and pans. You don't have.
Yeah.
Often the pets have been left behind. It's heartbreaking. So we've been just wanting to really help these people in very practical ways.
Now, there's three things I know about you. So one is your faith, okay? You've got good, strong faith. I also know that you're very passionate about Orphans Aid, okay? Also, I know about you, you're a great networker, okay? So what I feel about you is that when these crises happen in places like the Ukraine, you've got the networks. You can, people will donate money to you. You know exactly where to go to hook up with the right people to make things happen. Would that be true?
Oh, that's actually very good. That happens over a period of time. So to start with, one or two, but then each time you go back and each time you're talking to local people, your network grows. And actually in places like Romania, Eastern Europe, people are very stable generally. So the people that were there 21, 22 years ago are still there, and they're still our partners, and the trust and the depth of relationship has really grown. And that enables us to be able to be confident with what we're giving and what we're doing. And it really is a teamwork thing. Yeah, it's wonderful.
So tell us about the kids. So we are feeding 5,000 today.
Yes.
So tell us about the impact that, providing $2 for a meal. Tell us how that impacts that child's life.
Yeah. So say we were talking about the children in that have moved into Romania, or the children from our home there, for instance. Without that food, they're begging on the streets. Things just get really tough. In places like India, you're likely to be snatched or sold to somebody. Same with Uganda. In these places, things just get really tough. But where do you go if you've got no food? You do end up by getting into areas that you shouldn't be, and the predators, the traffickers will target you.
Yeah.
The traffickers will target you because you're defenseless, aren't you?
Yeah.
And, I love that scripture about defending the defenseless.
Yeah.
And so for any of these children, the food is the starting point. The $2 meal is the starting point. If we can feed them, then we can keep them safe. We can reach them, can't we?
Yeah.
So there you go. You've heard it live and in person from Sue herself. It's lovely to have you in the studio, my friend. Now, you can get behind this great campaign. They are here, as Sue's in the building and her friends. You can give us a call on 0508 003 003. That's 0508 003 003.
You can. Are you on the phone, Sue?
I have been this morning. I've been chatting to some wonderful people this morning.
I was going to say, I would love to be one of these people that calls up and gets your voice on the phone.
That's so nice. Yeah, well, lovely people driving on their way to work, pulling over on the side of the road to make phone calls. Aren't they amazing?
Oh, really amazing.
Yeah.
And look, I just think it's not too hard for us in New Zealand. I mean, I know times are tough in New Zealand, but really $2 a meal.
I know.
Yeah, it could just multiplied in countries like India.
Exactly. You give $20 and that's 10 meals.
Yes.
And, 10 meals.
Yeah, amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
it
good.
brings so much comfort.